I'm Holly, the food editor at Sous Chef, and I'm here with Christine today, who is our cookware expert and buyer. Christine has brought along her pick of chef's gadgets today. So, Christine, what have you brought to show us?
So I've brought a few of my favorites and the things I use on a regular basis when I cook. We can start over at your end. We have a really nice sort of curved saute pan, and this is the one that we designed as Sous Chef, as a company, designed together with an Netherton foundry. It's spun iron made in Shropshire. Really great. If you're going to have one pan, this is the kind of pan I like because it's wide enough that you can sear and use as a sort of skillet, but it's also deep enough that you can use it to make sauces and sort of more batch cooking.
And I know you love this because the pan has actually been nicknamed the Christine pan.
Yes.
Because you did design it with Netherton Foundry, so I know it's close to your heart. And so it's spun iron. How does that behave differently? Anything you need to take into consideration here?
So it behaves very similarly to cast iron. The main difference is spun iron it is much thinner, so you can see, and it is also lighter. You will also see because we have another cast iron product here later. You just need to season it and take care of it. Make sure you dry it properly after use. I like to put mine on the hob for even just a few seconds to make sure all the water evaporates.
If you had one pan, this would be your pan in the kitchen.
This is the kind of pan. If you're going to choose one, that's a really great place to start.
Love it.
Next up, it's probably a favorite you've seen around, we've talked about it loads, is the chef's presses. They are absolutely fantastic cooking weights, designed by Chef Bruce Hill in San Francisco. There's loads and loads of cooking weights on the market. A lot of them are cast iron, a lot of them are thick and very heavy. So this one is patented, and you can see you have these little vents, so you still get all the steam come through. Because I know when I've used weights with bacon as an example before, yes, it goes really flat, but there's still steam trapped, so you don't get them as crispy as you want. So with these ones, you will get that crispiness. They're not as heavy, and you have a few different weights. So
I love that. So you can really adjust how much weight you want to put on the pan.
And they all stack together no matter the size. So you have 4 sizes. You have this one, which is an 8 ounce. You have a 13 ounce, which is the same size but a bit thicker. We have an 18 ounce and a 17.5, which is a sort of circle.
Now this seems so clever to me as well, because if you are, for instance, cooking bacon in a frying pan, you get maximum surface area.
That one is absolutely fantastic in a frying pan.
This seems like such a clever innovation.
I use these loads when I defrost food as well, just to sort of keep them submerged. Also works if you're cooking sous vide, to keep them submerged under the water.
Clever, so really handy.
But they're a huge favourite, both with staff and customers at Sous Chef.
They are a Sous Chef signature, aren't they?
Yes, I would definitely say so. Next up, we have the cheese grotto. It is a really fun gadget, and if you love cheese, like I do, very much so.
Essential if you eat a lot of cheese.
Absolutely. It's really, really great. It keeps your cheese in tip-top condition. So also another US product, but essentially this is one of the smaller versions. So you have a little shelf in the middle. You have this acrylic front. You keep this in the fridge and store. You can keep it on the counter, and you store your cheese in here. You have a little stone or a little terracotta brick that you soak to keep the moisture inside the little grotto.
So it's about humidity, so letting your cheese age without it drying out.
Yeah, it keeps the ideal humidity. And then the little shelf in the middle here also comes out, so you can store your cheese on.
Great.
And it comes in bigger sizes as well if you want to store even more cheese. But it's a really nice gift for cheese lovers. It's all magnetic put together. It's very sturdy. It comes flat packed.
It's one of my favorite things about this is the way it clicks together so satisfyingly. So it's a really satisfying, sturdy thing to have in the kitchen.
I know when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's magnetic, like it's going to be sturdy, but like you cannot feel that it's going to come apart or anything. It's very strong magnets while still being easy enough to take apart. For anyone who is into their cheese, I would say this is a must-have gadget, and perfect for gifting as well, for that cheese lover that's had countless cheese trays and cheese knife sets and jams and everything. This is something they're definitely not going to have in their collection yet.
So what about these smaller utensils that you brought along?
So I would say these smaller things up front here are probably some of the things that I use almost daily. We have just a classic thermometer. This is the ThermaPen. Mine is a slightly older version because I've had it for quite a few years. We have an updated version now, which is even quicker. But it's just for anything, when you're cooking meat, but also when you make bread or cake or just anything for temperature. When it's darker out as well, or if you have a darker kitchen, or our hub lights doesn't work, so for me, the screen lights up when you open it as well, and it sort of turns itself off when you close it. So that's a big essential. The other one is the Gestura spoon, another favorite that you guys will have seen.
We've seen it, it's very lo-fi, and yet it's something that all of us at Sous Chef have realised that we keep by the hob and we use every single day. Why is it so brilliant?
On first look, it may just look like a spoon. If you talk to chefs, you'll probably find that one of their most used tools is a spoon. But the main thing I really like about it has a really long handle, so you can sort of stir and scoop and drizzle things, and especially if you're over the hob or over a saucepan or something, without burning, or if it's a deeper pan. It has a really nice pointed tip, which drizzles beautifully if you want to drizzle over things or pour. Or perfect for basting as well, because you can really scrape into the sides of a pan and baste over your food. It's a perfect tablespoon measure, and you have this little edge, almost like a lip around the spoon as well, which is also to help sort of scrape any pans. But yeah, it's a very simple thing, but just so useful. There's a slotted version as well, but I think I use this one most. I quite like using tweezers or tongs in general when I cook. It's really useful for so many things. You get really nice precise turning of your food. You can just sort of lift and check on it. I would say tweezers or tongs, it depends on what you cook. If you cook more bigger pieces of meat or chunkier foods, a pair of tongs might be better because you have a bit more grip. I love tender stem broccoli, and I eat it constantly, so it's perfect for that as well.
Yeah, great. And they also look like they'd be brilliant for serving nice sort of ringlets of pasta, spaghetti, served into a beautiful ringlet on the plate.
Absolutely. And easy stainless steel goes in the dishwasher. As you can see, a lot of these favorites are just easy, durable products. They're just going to last you. Next up, I would say this is my favorite spatula. Firstly, it looks very nice. I'm very much into my aesthetics, and I like things to look nice. But it's a really nice carbonized ash wood handle, which is why it makes it a little bit darker. It's steel enforced silicone head. So you have the very tip is flexible, but it's still very sturdy, being steel underneath. It's firm enough that you can sort of scrape the bottom of your pan, but also properly clean it because of the flexibility of the silicone. This one, unfortunately, is not dishwasher safe. However, it's so easy clean anyway that I'm not actually bothered, whereas I normally very much want to be able to put my things in the dishwasher.
I think everyone finds their perfect spatula, don't you? And then once you realise what you love, you can't go back to anything else. So.
No, and it's definitely, I would say, a spatula in general. This is my personal favourite. A spatula and a tong are probably the two tools I use most when I cook. Then we have this one.
The Microplane.
Yes.
Iconic.
I feel like this type of grater has become synonymous with Microplane. Microplane is actually the brand. It's not necessarily the type of grater, but it's such an iconic brand. These kind of zesters have become Microplanes. They're just really amazing. The zester specifically, which is perfect for sort of grating Parmesan or zesting, of course, lemons, limes, any citrus. Also great for garlic and ginger.
Nutmeg as well. I was just thinking that's my go-to for nutmeg.
Absolutely. I have some larger sizes as well, which sort of they're wider and bigger holes. That's more of a normal grater.
Particularly if you're using Parmesan almost as a seasoning, because it creates such light, fluffy clouds of gratings that they just disintegrate into your food and just season fully. It's such a good way of grating.
And it's really nice. But they're really good. And I think I have 3 or 4 of them at home in constant rotation. We also have this spider or wire skimmer. People call it different things. I find this really useful as well. I got this only a couple of years ago, quite late into my cooking journey, so to speak. But it's been really useful as well. We usually only cook for 2 people in our house, so it's perfect when I'm steaming or boiling things, and it can just take things out of the pot, especially for things like pasta or potatoes. I just sort of lift it out.
Specifically with pasta, that means that you then have the pasta water there if you want to bring some into your sauce to emulsify it.
I don't have to think about getting a cup and saving some aside or pouring it into something. It's just really easy. But it is actually very, very useful, and I do highly recommend them.
The theme of this collection is gadgets, and yet this looks very low tech. Why have you brought a book with us today?
Yes, so this is the Stone Journal. It is a notebook or chef's notebook. The paper is made from stone rather than tree, so it's very, very durable, and it's sort of, you can't really tear it either. It'll stretch a bit, but it's not going to tear.
It's lime, isn't it? It's sort of...
it's limestone, and you can feel it feels quite different to normal paper.
Yeah, it's quite sort of silky and thick.
Yeah.
And why is that a good thing?
It's really good. So this is grease and waterproof. I have tested it rigorously when we had a customer querying quite how well that worked. I sort of poured oil on it, I ran it under the tap, I used soap on it to then clean off all the grease and things from the book, and it's still absolutely fine. I actually did that on a recipe I had, and that is still completely
legible,
completely intact. It also has some conversion tables in it, so when you're cooking you have your different conversions from ounces to grams and things as well. So it's really useful, and it has a lay flat technology, so no matter where in the book you are, it will
so pleasing.
Lay flat.
Because there's nothing worse when you've got a bit of dough in your hand or something trying to push back to the original page.
Another thing that looks quite inconspicuous are these trays. We call them prep trays. They are oven safe. They come in multiple different sizes, but they're really great for prepping all kinds of food. They're very thick and durable.
These make me so happy.
Yeah. They're made in Japan. We brought them on about a year or so ago, and they have very quickly become a top seller.
They're just so brilliant for that mise en place moment, just laying stuff out.
Absolutely.
I find them so useful. There's something so satisfying about the very simple shape and how they stack together, and just one of those incredibly useful things where, like you say, you can pop it in the oven or have it as some part of your prep.
That's definitely a big favourite. You're going to be able to use it for so many things. I love it when I prep my sort of vegetables or meats, and I can put them and I can season them and toss them about a bit before I put them in a pan or in an oven or in however I'm cooking them.
Last on the table, this big heavyweight beast. What is it?
This is the Challenger bread oven. I am a big fan of baking bread, but it's excellent for getting that spring in your loaves. It's made from cast iron. It's very heavy.
It is incredibly
it's
heavy.
Very heavy, but it's great. So you see you have a huge cavity in here. You put your loaf on the base. I put this in the oven first for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then I put my loaf in there. I bake it with the cloche or the lid on for probably I usually do 30 minutes in my oven and then about 30 minutes without. But it contains the steam really nicely. It gets really hot, so it gets hotter than your actual oven in there. You get a nice steam and spring in your loaf, and it helps crust up a little bit, and then you get that full crust and lovely colour on your loaf when you take it out.
And what I love, when I bake bread, I do it in my enamelled cast iron pot with a lid, which is great, but that means that then I have the slight challenge of getting it out of my deep pot, and I always have to tip it upside down, which is a bit difficult when it's hot, and I damage the loaf slightly. And what's so great is obviously baking on the flat surface, like an inverted
I've burnt my hands many times cooking in my Dutch oven. They're fantastic for bread, but this is just, it kind of solves that for you. So if you're an avid baker, or you like baking bread a lot, it's great. You can also use the base as a sort of frying pan or griddle on your hob. It's not just for bread.
I'm thinking, a chicken obviously would also be amazing on a trivet of veg.
Absolutely.
Really handy. And it's so thick and sturdy. It really feels really thicker than any Dutch oven that I have at home. It's it's a really big piece of kit.
Yeah, and it's got all these handles, which is great as well. So you have handles on the sides, and when you just need to lift up the top, you can just lift it from the sides, or you can lift the whole thing with the handles like this. Quite heavy, but definitely worth it if you're big on your baking.
Thanks, Christine. That was really helpful, really interesting to see what you actually use every day from the vast array of chef gadgets that we have available at Sous Chef. It's really nice to see your favourite pick here.
Thank you very much for having me.